are back again. We back again. Hey there, and welcome back to Mr. Larry's Craft Show. It's nice to see you again. I hope that you enjoy my cozy winter wonderland kitchen. I wanted to show some love to the Elsa crowd out there. What's up? Obviously, we're back in the kitchen because I wanted to give you all an opportunity to express your love and gratitude and affection for your friends and family in a way that is safe. So shipping things like cookies and candies and fudge is maybe the way to go this year. It's fudge. Our project is fudge. We're making fudge today. Fudge is one of those wonderful, delightful treats that people just can't seem to get enough of around the holidays. So we're gonna explore why that is and just how to create our own version of fudge using a much simpler process than the traditional one. But before we get into that, I'm gonna share with you 3 things that'll help us get started and take our fudge to the next level. Starting with thing number 1. Fudge is a delicious American confection which is often found around the holidays each year. The treat is believed to be the result of a fudged batch of caramels, with the first record of sales taking place in Baltimore in 1886. Women's colleges of the day were instrumental in the development of fudge variations and recipes. They added things like nuts and fruit and decorations. Today, fudge is often gifted for special occasions or picked up by tourists for a sweet local memory maker all across the United States. That brings us to thing number 2. My first taste of fudge came from Natchitoches, Louisiana. Natchitoches is the oldest permanent settlement in the original Louisiana Purchase and is also where I went to college and started my teaching career. I also grew up about an hour away from there. If you are from Natchitoches, you value deeply 2 things: meat pies and Dolly Parton. Natchitoches is also the filming location of the 1989 Academy Award and Golden Globe Award nominated film Steel Magnolias. When Julia Roberts triumphantly regains her composure after having a diabetic episode, and Dolly gently grabs her shoulders and looks deep into her eyes with the love of a nurturer and says, "We'll fix it," you just feel that. The Festival of Lights that they feature in the film actually happens every year. It's so cute. I mean, it's like if you're ever in Louisiana, visit New Orleans, visit Baton Rouge, visit Natchitoches, Louisiana. As a teenager, my holiday trips to Natchitoches always included hot cider, several crawfish pies, and locally made fudge. And that brings us to thing number 3. Fudge, when made the traditional way, involves a lot of precision with temperatures and a knack for stirring a pot. It also takes a bit of time, which is why it's such a treat. All of that careful planning and measuring, and what if we threw all that out and tried a few shortcuts? Today we'll look at 2 methods of producing fudge that will take a bit of the time and difficulty out of the equation. You'll still need to prepare smartly and make sure that you're nicely organized and paying attention to what you're doing, but the fudge making learning curve here makes room for everyone. Not to mention, it makes freaking fudge. So clean your microwave and let's try something out. So for our first batch of fudge, I'm going with an Elsa inspired recipe. I have these sprinkles that I've mixed together, and I want to do some interesting blues and purples in the white fudge that I intend to make. So I'm using white chocolate chips, 12 ounces of these. I have 1 can of Betty Crocker Rich and Creamy vanilla frosting. For this recipe to work and to set up properly, it must be the rich and creamy variation. You'll also need any sort of food coloring that you might wish to use. Gel coloring is always recommended because it takes the least amount to get a really potent color and it doesn't change the consistency of the recipe. And I'm also going to drop in just a hint of this violet lavender syrup and some peppermint. The other thing that we'll need for this are some toothpicks. You'll need some foil for your pan. The recipes all call for 8-inch square pans. I don't have one, so I'm using this small Pyrex. This is a 8 by 6 inch, which is just about perfect for the amount of fudge that this first recipe makes. The first thing we want to do is line our pan with foil. Make sure that you have some overhang with your foiling so that you can pull the fudge out at the end. It's also recommended that you spray this with some cooking spray. Again, this will help with the removal of the fudge once we get to that point. Take our white chocolate chips and our tub of Rich and Creamy and add all of this into this bowl. And try to resist the urge to eat it immediately. That should be okay to go. Now I'm gonna set this aside just for a second because I want to prep my colored bowls. This actually reminds me a lot of what we did when we made soap. We had to work very quickly because we're using the microwave. Once we get these items blended together through our microwaving process, they'll start to harden. So we'll want to make sure that we have everything ready to mix into it before we go. I want to add a few different colors. So I have all my colors set out. I'm going to add my flavors now, starting with the violet lavender. Just a drop. I don't want these to be crazy, but I do want them to be different. And then I also have a little bit of peppermint. I'm going to do just the tiniest drop, as I have recently learned from Baking Championship. It's all it takes. There we go. So my bowls are ready to go. My mixture is ready to be popped to the microwave. My pan is prepared. Let's go. We're going to do this in 15-second increments in the microwave. And then stir it along the way. Once we get it all melted up, we'll divvy it out into these bowls. Mix that very quickly but very gently, and then place it in our pan, which is waiting and ready to go. Then we'll take some toothpicks and draw some lines through it, and that'll give it that really interesting marbling look that we love so often in fudge. So I'm gonna put some white in there. Now, just like with the soap project, if these begin to harden before you're ready for them to, you can simply pop them back in the microwave for a little bit. 15-second increments usually work best, and then it's ready to work with again. Not bad so far. Toothpick. And then lastly, coat the entire top in my lovely Elsa sprinkle mix. And then we'll let this set in the fridge for a couple of hours. For our second recipe, all we need are 18 ounces of chocolate chips, a 14-ounce can of sweetened condensed milk, our pan, which is already prepared, and I'm going to add just a dash of some pumpkin pie spices just to give it a little extra flavor with that chocolate. So all we're going to do is pour this can of sweetened condensed milk over the chocolate and mix these together very well. And then we'll microwave this in 15-second increments, just like we did before, and stir along the way until it gives us the right consistency. A lot of people like to add nuts to their... I echo the words of Latrice Royale in this matter. Get those nuts away from my face. I don't like nuts in my fudge. I don't understand why that needs to be a thing. I'm gonna pop this in the microwave for 15-second increments until it gets nice and blended together like our last. And now this one will also sit in the fridge for another couple of hours, and then we'll reveal them to see what we get. And we have the other one. So this foil should assist us in lifting it out of the pan, just like that. Just gently peeling this off. I'm gonna warm this knife up, actually. Yeah, you heard it here first, folks. Warm up the knife. Also, maybe invest in bigger knives. I have two different kinds of fudge here, and one of them is far superior to the other in texture and flavor, and that's the chocolate one. I really did not expect it to be so good, especially since we made it from a microwave. But this is just the most... Well, let's talk about the loser first. The Betty Crocker recipe is fun to make. It can do a lot of fun things with the coloring. Certainly fun, and it does taste good. It's very sweet. So it's fine. It's a little crumbly. But the chocolate one, y'all, I just can't get over how good it is. It holds its shape really well. It's got the right consistency for me, at least. And it's just like, that's a good piece of fudge. Try this at home. It's so good. It's definitely worth it. That's it. I hope that your fudge journey was everything you thought it would be today, and that you have learned an all new treat that you can make for your friends and family, and a way to just spread a little bit more cheer this year. And you could actually do this all year round. There's nothing stopping you from making fudge in March. That's a lot of sugar. Oh my goodness. I do advise that you share, lest you end up like Shelby. Oh no. You gotta drink your juice, Shelby. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I absolutely appreciate each and every one of your subscriptions and your comments and your likes and your shares and all of that stuff. Let me know what you're up to. You can visit me on, the socials, the Instagram and the other one. Take care of yourself and each other. Is that what Jerry Springer says? Be good people and stuff and make cool things, and I'll see you next week with an all new Mr. Larrie Craft video. Bye!